Hello YouTube, Justin here. I know it's been a little while since I've been around doing some lessons, a few songs the other week, so I thought I'd make this a good one, and today we're going to look at some of the classic kind of licks that Jimi Hendrix used to spice up his rhythm playing. I couldn't possibly cover all of Jimi Hendrix's cool tricks in one little 10-minute lesson, so I'm just going to kind of single out two of them. Both of them work around a major chord. This is not a beginner's lesson. This is kind of like you already know your bar chords, you're looking to kind of make them sound a little bit funkier. Basically the two tricks, before we go to a close-up and I'll show you what's going on. I'm just going to use this little C bar chord here, like an A-shaped C chord with a 5th string root. And the little trick that Hendrix uses a lot is putting what's referred to as the 3rd of the chord, which in this case is the note E, on the bottom. This kind of sound. So once you get into that, sounds quite funky as it is. That kind of thing. So you're sliding up using a 3rd finger. I'll show you this in close up in a sec. And then putting the rest of the chord down. Now once you're up there and you've got that 3rd on the bass, there's all sorts of little, little tricks and stuff that you can use. It's a really nice little rhythm guitar trick. It works in almost any situation, not necessarily Hendrix. John from the Red Hot Chili Peppers uses it a whole heap. I mean, yeah, loads of great guitar players use it all the time. John Mayer. There's loads of guys that use it. Once you hear the trick, you'll kind of recognise it, I'm sure. So that's the first one. That's with a 5th string root, and the other one I'm going to show you is with a 6th string root, which is this kind of thumb over technique, where thumb plays the bass note, and the 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers play the chord, and that frees up your little finger to do all those kind of a million little tricks that you can use with that. Under the Bridge uses a lot of the tricks there with the E-shape bar chord, Hendrix style. So before I gas on any longer, I'll go to a close-up and show you exactly how to do this stuff. See you in a sec. So let's start off with having a C chord. And you can see here my 1st finger is playing the note C, which is the 3rd fret, and my 3rd finger is barring the 4th, 3rd and 2nd strings there in a little bar, making sure that the 3rd finger lifts up enough to mute the thinnest string there. Yeah, if you're not sure about that, check out the lesson I did on YouTube. I think it's called Master Your Bar Chords, and this is probably part 2, but I can't remember. It's also on the website, the Justin Guitar thing. So, there's the 1st chord. Now if you roll your 3rd finger like that over onto the note D, which is on the 5th string, play it, and slide it up 2 frets, so it's now on the note E, which is the 3rd of the chord of C. Think of it as like the 3rd note of the scale. The 3rd of the chord. And 1st finger is now replacing the notes that the 3rd finger used to hold down. So there's the initial chord. Now 1st finger is replacing those 3, and 3rd finger's down on that note E. This is a pretty funky little trick anyway, just by itself. So just by itself it will be quite nice if you're playing a C chord for a long time. Now once you get up here, there's a few little tricks you can do. A really common Hendrix trick is to move that 1st finger over so it's now covering the 5th string as well, and then to pluck the 5th string and the 4th string together and hammer down that 3rd finger. If you don't put the 3rd finger down right, it'll mute the 4th string, and it's really important that you still get this note. That note has to be ringing the whole time while the other one changes, otherwise it sounds like this. And you just end up with one note. It doesn't sound anywhere near as cool. So, if you start with these two, so just plucking the 5th string and the 4th string, actually I'm touching the 3rd string a little bit as well, but it doesn't really matter how many of those extra ones you hit. There's the most famous example of that is Wind Cries Mary by Jimi Hendrix, which has this little... It's not in that key, it's in the key of E flat, but it's that kind of idea. So that's a good little trick. Now, as well as having that hammer on there, you can also hammer on the 3rd finger onto the 7th fret of the 4th string or of the 3rd string. Each time plucking, so if you're hammering the 3rd finger down the 4th string, you're also plucking the third string at the same time. The same if you put the hammer of the third finger on the third string, 7th fret, you would also make sure that this note on the second string is ringing out. I'll just put it in the context of a groove for a sec so you can hear what it's a pretty usable little thing. Now, as well as hammering on, you can also do a hammer on and flick off. Lots of nice little licks there for you to muck around with. That one was just plucking these two, the second and third strings, and doing the hammer on the third string. Then the next two strings down. When I mean down, I actually mean up physically, but down like the pitch-wise going down. Flick off. It's just a slide, that last one. Pick, hammer, flick off, slide, strum. Loads of little licks like that. So that's the first one. That's the trick, and for the C chord. Hello. I was just editing this thing, and it came in at quite a bit over 10 minutes. So I've cut it into 2. So if you want to get the rest of the lesson and check out the kind of the E grip kind of tricks for Jimi Hendrix, then check out my Hendrix Rhythm Part 2. And I'll show you all of those extra little bits and some chord progressions to play about with, and a little bit about sound. So, see you in a bit.